Hello. There's been a lot of questions being asked this last few weeks to myself about masking, and there's also been a couple of webinars going around through YouTube and advertised on Facebook, etc., about masking. And I just wanted to do a little bit, a very short piece about understanding the masking in terms of the questions I was asked is, can children mask really well, or is it just a matter of they are being awkward at home and they really are enjoying school? Parents are questioning what they're doing. And we should question all the time, but I think we know our children and we know what's happening. So if your child is really having problems from the night before or from the minute they wake up about wanting to go to school, and it is causing real hardship to the child, and it's taking you an hour, 2 hours to get them ready for school and out the door, and there's a lot of tears, there's a lot of shouting, there's a lot of kicking and everything else, only to be told later on, once you've got your child into school, you get a phone call, yeah, as soon as you left they were fine, there was no problem, making you, the parent, feel really shitty. Sorry for using that word, but that's how you feel, because you've just had a tour of battle trying to get your child into school, they don't want to go, and as soon as they're into school you're told how wonderful they are, there's no problems, there's no issues. Actually, there's probably more issues at that point than what we can imagine. Because masking is going to do 2 or 3 things, in my opinion, and from what I understand. And we're not going to talk about whether it's female or male, boy or girl, because it's going to manifest in different ways within our own children, because as we know, we're all different. So if we have a child who is masking, they are trying to survive, possibly, in the classroom and not want to stand out. They know that if they continue crying or continue screaming and shouting, is that they're going to be picked on, they're going to be standing out, and the last thing they want is to stand out, to try and have to explain to the teacher, explain to the other children why they're behaving that way, or whatever. So they're going to really keep quiet now. But underneath, it's like that swan. They're looking really calm and everything's going nice and above the water, and you think, wow, they're looking really cool. And underneath, their feet are going like mad, they're paddling away, but the panic is going on. But they're managing to hide that panic. Until that door opens at 3 o'clock, they run out into the playground, and it might not even get to the car. It might be from the minute they get into the playground they start screaming and shouting about a horrible day. But the screaming and shouting is aimed at you, because they just need this release. But it's deemed upon onlookers as that you, the parent, are the issue, because they've been fine all day, and as soon as they see you, oh my goodness, bang. Yeah. So masking in that way is a form of keeping themselves together to not stand out. But it also could be that they're trying to learn. They don't know what they're doing, and if I sit back quietly and I watch and then I try and emulate what other people are doing, then I can try and fit in, and no one will ever know that I'm feeling different or that I am different, and I'll copy people. But I have to be quiet, and I have to sit back, and I have to watch, and then I'll try and come in where I think is the right place and have a few chats. And the biggest thing that I find is in the playground, when we're saying our children don't like playing, they get no friends, and the school can say, oh, they've been playing lovely in the playground, they've been involved with so and so, and they've been doing this and they've been doing that. And then when we get home, it's, oh, I couldn't play, I didn't get on with this, and I didn't get on with that. And it's a real opposite to what the school are telling us. Well, maybe that masking is they're actually hating being that. The school are not telling you any lies. They were fitting in, they were playing, but they weren't understanding what they were doing. They didn't understand what was going on, but they were just trying to copy. But by doing that, it was causing them real problems in their heads. And although they're smiling, they're trying to make sense of it and can't. So again, when they get home, they're saying how horrible it was, and they don't play with anybody, because in their minds they're not playing. They are just going along with. They're going along with what is happening to again try and fit in. And when we're doing this, we have to ask schools, look, can we do a homeschool diary? Because it would be really interesting to see in writing what it is that's going on in the playground, what it is going on in the class. And I'm not looking for negative, I'm looking for the positive. Because then we can then say what, when they come home and what they're telling us, we'll not ask them how did this happen, but it comes out. They will tell us how horrible things are. They will say how bad this person's been, or this person's done that, this person said this, or I was being bullied, etc. Where none of this was seen by the class teacher. And by having this homeschool diary of the positive that school is seeing, and then the words that the children are using when they get home as to how bad it was, we can then see about how clearly masking is going on. And then we have to say, right, we now need to, as a school, talk to the children and say, are you enjoying playing? And shall we put a little code in together that if I come out onto the playground, I put my thumbs up and you're happy and everything's okay, you can put your thumbs up to me. But if you're not, you either you don't do anything, you don't respond to me, or you put your thumbs down, and I'll find an excuse to take you out of that situation. Because my son really couldn't take himself out of the situation. Once he was in it, he couldn't get out of it. He didn't like to tell people, I've had enough, I can't do this. Or he didn't want to kick off because he wasn't getting his own way. He didn't understand the rules, and it wasn't the rules that he was wanting to abide by. But he knew that at school he couldn't show his anger and frustration. So he'd hold it together as much as possible, and then again when we got home from school, bang, off it goes. So I need to get out of the situation. We need to give them that outlet. So as parents, for us, we would, it was probably when Sam got his phone it became more apparent. So he would phone us, we were never allowed to answer the phone, and then if he phoned us, we knew that we then had to text him to sort of say, right, I need you home, you've been out too long, or whatever. We give him an excuse. We gave him that outlet to say to his friends, Mum and Dad have messaged me, I've got to go home now, sorry. It wasn't him saying, I have had enough, I need to go. It was the third party saying, get me out of here, and he would go along with that, and that was his out. And we may need to do that into the playground, into school. We may need to sort of say, they are masking, they are finding it difficult, and we need to give them an out, an okay to leave that situation. So that's another thing to look at. And thirdly, when they're masking, what damage is being done? They're being quiet, they're going into their heads. What are they saying to themselves? Is their self-esteem getting even lower and lower until they get really depressed? Because they're not being picked up. They're model student, they're not being naughty, they're not causing any issues or whatever. But their meltdown is a silent meltdown. And what are they saying to themselves? And that's what we need to be aware of. So when schools say, we don't see it, they don't see it because they don't know what they're looking for. We need to sort of say, if my child is happy and is really, really interested in what's going on, this is how they're going to present. I was asked by college, when my daughter went to college, how will we know if Lily's struggling? And we said, this is what happens. She'll stop talking. She'll go into herself. You'll not hear her. If Lily's really happy and bubbly, you'll find her quite annoying because she never shuts up. She's very, very bubbly and will talk to everybody and anybody. But that's because she's really happy and content, and you know she's in a good place. If you can't hear Lily and she's quiet, then she's struggling. Oh, right. Thank you. We need to let them know what they're looking for. Because once the people know what they're looking for, then they can say, actually, they are struggling. So our job is to make sure that we've told school exactly what our children are like if they, when they are happy, content and feeling safe at school, and therefore we'll get the best out of our children. So masking, really, really important to understand it. It's not always a bad thing, because we can learn through masking, but we have to be aware that masking is in place. And then how do we deal and tackle it with the school? Because the school can say, we can only report what we see. So yes, they can, but then we're going to tell you what you're looking for, and you have to believe us, and you have to look at it and work with us. And hopefully the majority of schools will. But if we just go in and say, this is what it is, it's your fault, and we can't start blaming fault, we have to say, this is what we're being told. I understand you're being told different, so we think masking is at play here. Can we work out how to make them feel a bit happier in the classroom? Don't know how we can do that, but if we start the school diary, we can see what's going on, and then we can together try and work out the best way around this. Thank you.